What was I doing? This is thank you so much for being here. Hello there, my name is Mackenzie, welcome back to my channel, and thank you so much for being here. Today we're going to do my May wrap-up. I'm very excited. I'm starting off with some statistics for you. I read 2,932 pages, 8 books, 3 were audio, 5 were physical, across 8 genres, and I only DNF'd 1. So that's very exciting for me. We're going to go through the books in chronological order in which I read them, so that way we can kind of go through my journey. We are, however, going to start with this book, mainly because I read like 20 or 30 pages of this, and I put it down, and I never picked it back up again. And it's like, I'm sorry, there was nothing wrong with it, I just never picked it back up again. I wasn't necessarily feeling slumpy this month, just I did feel like I was kind of on a time crunch. May wasn't as relaxing as I necessarily wanted it to be, and so the Bone Houses kind of just got lost in the mix. I'm not sure if I'm going to be reading it in June or July, but I read like 25 pages of it, but I didn't finish it. But there's nothing wrong with it, and I didn't DNF it. I just stopped reading it. You know, Books with Emily Fox has her pile of shame, and that's basically what it makes up of books that she just stops reading. Not like she DNFs them, but she just stops reading for some reason. And I feel like this is the beginning of my pile of shame. Alright, from here on out, all the books are going to be in chronological order, in the order I finished them. First, we have The Only Good Indians by Stephen Graham Jones. This is my only DNF for the month. I actually read 36 pages, and at that point I was like, I don't think I'm going to like it, so I skipped ahead a little bit, found a quote on page 51, and I was like, you know what, I don't think I'm gonna like this. So I have 3 quotes I'd like to read to you. They are not spoilers, and they happen within the first 51 pages of the book. So if you'd like to skip ahead to the next book, please do. If you want to hear why I don't like this book, it's really all in the quotes. Page 16. Or maybe the reward for lucking through all that is having been married 10 years now to PETA. Page 28. Lewis, always trying to be sure to remind Shaney about his wife, and then say something again about her, just to be sure. Page 51. Is he really about to tell her? Does the hot girl from work get to know what his wife doesn't? And honestly, how do you go not even 40 pages from page 16 to page 51, loving your wife, to you're going to cheat on her with this woman? I have no doubt about it. Like, it's one thing if our main character doesn't like his wife from the beginning. A lot of Stephen King's novels start that way. Pet Sematary starts that way. And so does The Shining. But you expect me to believe that you think that the only thing good that's happened to you is marrying your wife and being married for 10 years, and then not 40 pages later, you're gonna be cheating on her? No, thank you. So the first book that I actually finished this month is The Order of the Pure Moon Reflected in Water by Zen Cho. This is like the shortest book I've ever picked up in hardcover. I gave this 4 stars. This was so beautiful. The language was amazing, and everything was subtext. All the relationship was subtext. Oh my gosh, this is LGBT representation, and if you don't know where that representation comes from, I don't want to tell you, because it's great. It's beautiful, and it's just this like, I don't even know how to explain this to you. So, Gouette is a young votary, so like a nun of the Order of the Pure Moon. She joins up with this eclectic group of thieves, whether they want to or not, in order to protect a sacred object. Because she finds out that they have this sacred object, and she wants to make sure that that object stays safe. And it's just this brief little journey. It's so beautiful. It's almost like a fairy tale, and I love everything about it. Like, I want more from the story, but I don't also, right? Like, it was just this beautiful little package, and it was like, I want more because it was so good. But mainly I just want to relive the experience because I feel like anything more would just ruin it. It's so beautiful. It's perfect. There is a little bit of removal in the sense of the characters. Like, the way you grow to love the characters happens almost like on accident. There isn't like a defining moment or a lot of characterization that happens, but maybe like 30 pages in, you just start to realize that you love all of these characters and you know a lot about them and you just want to see what's going to happen and you just want to follow them. You just want to know. It's truly lovely. All right, so the next book that I read was a poetry collection called Dandelion by Gabby Hanna. My husband picked this up for me. He went to Barnes & Noble all by himself, and he picked out a few books for me, and this was one of them. It was a poetry collection. He knew nothing about it. I read it. It was good. It wasn't necessarily like groundbreaking or super emotional. It was good. It was fine. There are like 6 little like mini essays at the back, which kind of, it was very strange. So there's this like poetry collection that is just, it's not as emotional as it could be, right? And then there's 6 essays at the back where it's like all they're doing is emotionally manipulating you and telling you sad stories. And so it's like the tonal shift is so jarring, it makes it hard to continue to empathize. And I really don't like the essays at the back. Now, come to find out that Gabby Hanna is a YouTuber who likes to start drama on YouTube and send her fans after people she doesn't like. And also come to find out that this poetry collection is published with a few different essays at the back. So if you ever wanted to read this collection in its entirety, you would have to acquire all of the different copies with the different essays in the back. But it's not like they label it in any way, shape, or form to tell you which version this one is, so that way you can make it an easy collection. It's like a scavenger hunt. It was just fine in regards to poetry, but like, community. I'm depressed. We all are. It's like a post on Instagram. It's fine, but it's not like, it's not making me emotional. It's not hitting those points as poetry. And when she did hit those points in the essay portion, at that point, it was such a jarring tonal shift that I wasn't ready for it. So I have refused to give this a rating. Most of the time I don't give poetry collections a rating, but after finding out the kind of author that Gabby Hanna is and the kind of person that she is, I will not be giving this a rating. The next book I read for a reading vlog, it was The Secret History by Donna Tartt. I gave this a 4-star. I thought it was quite interesting. So here's how I know that I can read a book about a character who is unlikable, or even a bunch of characters who are unlikable. I mean, the prologue starts with a group of characters murdering their fellow students, so I can read books where the characters are unlikable. You just have to start them there. Or if they're going to have a character change, it needs to make sense and not happen in 40 pages. So this was very interesting because it's like super long. a little convoluted, and the plot ends up being super simple. I really enjoyed what makes this the academia parts, the lot of talk of philosophy and Greek, civilization and literature, the way that school and mentors and other students can just pick away at you and like degrade you and make you feel like you're nothing if you don't belong. Like that kind of commentary is intense. But in actuality, the plot is very simple, and it's really long and convoluted for it to be so simple. But it is a beautiful, beautiful character study of this group of students who are willing to subjugate themselves to a Greek literature class. It's not all it's hyped up to be. I want it to be clear that as much as I'm giving this a 4-star review, BookTube and Bookstagram and every person who posts a picture of Dark Academia, they hype this book up like it's the end-all be-all, and it's really, it's not. It's not. It's good. I feel like this just barely gave me a taste of Dark Academia and didn't get into like the depths of how dark it can actually be. Definitely 4-star. I really enjoyed it. It hit all of the points of like the language was beautiful. I loved the character study. I loved that all of these characters were creepy and dark in their own ways, and everything felt like true to character. It was sad. It was disturbing. But it was I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. All right, next book that I read on audio through my Libby app. It was A Honeybee Heart Has 5 Openings, A Year of Keeping Bees by Helen Jukes. Now, I read this book in preparation for a vlog that ended up not happening at all because all of the audiobooks that I wanted to read for that vlog came in after each other, and then one of them still hasn't come in. So I decided to scrap the whole vlog video, and instead I just read the books. So I read this on audio. It was recommended for my Enneagram, which is 2. I'm a 2-wing 1, if you care. So it was recommended to me. It's really just a memoir focused on a year period of this woman when she starts keeping bees in Britain. And like that's it. She just keeps bees. And it's just like this sweet little story of this woman kind of finding community within the beekeeping community and bees and how they kind of relate to humans. And it was just kind of like this little like sweet little philosophy session on bees. I don't know. It was a really, really cute, really sweet. I ended up giving this one a 4-star. The way I rate memoirs is if they make me interested in the person more or interested in more of the topic as well. And honestly, I'm all about bees now. They're my thing. I really think it's sweet, like just reading people's experiences keeping bees. I definitely think beekeeping memoirs are going to be like a niche genre that I seek out from now on. Okay, the next book I also read for my Dark Academia vlog, Vida Nostra, and this one is a perfect example of what I mean when I say that The Secret History is super overhyped, because Vida Nostra is so dark, I don't even know how to explain it to you. The fantastical elements are so grand. What? It's amazing. 4-star for this one. Translated work from Russian. Great and beautiful. Our main character thinks she's gonna have a regular old life going to university. Come to find out, a strange mentor approaches her and tasks her with strange, demeaning tasks. And after she completes a task, she gets gold coins, and those gold coins pay for her tuition to an Institute of Special Technologies. And honestly, read this book. Read this book because it's a trip. So as opposed to where The Secret History focused on Greek literature, this is much more focused on language and just words in general, how sentences come to be, and how sentences and word structure are creation in and of itself, and how you can use that to transcend humanness. There's a point in this book where things start happening and I'm like, I am confused. So if it helps, I don't know if it helps. If you haven't read this book, I'm just sitting here telling you weird things about this book, and you're probably not going to want to read it, but it is like the strangest thing that's ever happened. The series is called Metamorphosis. Like, if you go into this book with the knowledge that, okay, Metamorphosis is going to be like the overall thematic venture, I think you'll be okay. But still, it might take you up until the end of the book, and even then you're like, what? And apparently, so there's like 2 other books in the genre. There's 2 other books in the series. They haven't been translated yet, but they also aren't as connected to this book as I would like. And honestly, I guess that makes sense. But this book is so confusing. I feel like I'm doing you a disservice by sitting here trying to talk to you about it after I've read it. I think I need to read it like twice more to really even get what happened. And then maybe I can like give you something that's not just me rambling about how weird this book was. Because it was weird. The next book I read was also an audiobook, and it was also for that vlog that never happened. It was supposed to be an Enneagram Reads vlog, so all of these were recommended for my Enneagram. This one was Felix Ever After by Kaysen Calendar. I read this in a day. It was adorable. I freaking loved it. Okay, so this was really like my first YA contemporary romance with like nothing else going on, no fantasy elements, no political intrigue, like nothing. And it was great. It was adorable. I loved everything about it, and it was truly just a moment of me like, where have you been? How dare I not be listening to all of these sweet little romances? So YA contemporary romance is now my go-to genre for audiobooks, and I love that for me. So Felix Love has never been in love. And then he starts getting bullied by an anonymous person who's posting pictures of him pre-transition all over school, and then cyberbullying him, messaging him on Instagram. So is this sweet little story with this big group of gay friends, and everyone's there supporting each other and keeping each other accountable, and it's lovely. And the talk of bullies in your life, whether they can be in your friendship groups or just outside, and how that can really affect you, and the love we think we deserve. Like, a sweet little commentary on being with someone to prove that you are worthy of love, and how you don't need that. You are worthy of love regardless of who you're with, or if you're with. Just, it's so good, and I loved it. And the sweet little high school drama. I don't love high school drama all the time, but when it's like accountability, representation, being more human, and standing up to bullies, like, that is the drama that I'm here for. And like, as someone who came out much later in life, I did not have that group of queer friends in high school, so it's so sweet and cute to read about, and just kind of have this vicarious experience of like a group of friends that I just like want to belong to, you know? It's very cute. Oh, I also gave Felix Ever After a 4.5 stars, and this was really something interesting for me. It's the first time where I realized what a 4.5 really was for me, and it's a book that's perfect. I can't tell you anything that I hated about it. All of the characters were well developed. I really believed in everything that was happening, and the multiple messages were delivered very well. I just don't feel like it is a new favorite in the sense that 5 stars are. Yes, it for sure got me into a new genre, which deserves some sort of respect, which is why I'm deeming it a 4.5, but I don't think that this is one, like, I'm not going to go buy it on physical. And I think that is like a huge defining thing there. All right, Dune by Frank Herbert. So I read this as a buddy read with my husband. He kept talking about wanting to read Dune. He had his own copy, and I was like, well, they made like cool new copies and new movies coming out. Why don't we read it together? And we did, and we have a review up of it if you want to go see that. It's really funny. We're really goofy. It's all over the place, and it's spoiler filled, so know that going in. I rated this a 4-star. I think it was really interesting. It is a lot of setup. It is a lot of world building. It is a lot of political intrigue. It is a lot of sitting there and talking and our monologuing, and It's a lot. It's a lot. And it does get a little bit info dumpy at the beginning, and so I really had to use an audiobook to help me get through it. But the story and the depths and the conversation on like political pawns being moved on a chessboard, it's just crazy. It's really good. I feel like it definitely could have been better. I feel like it's slogged in some bits, but it's so, so good. And I definitely think it's way more accessible than people kind of make it out to seem. Thinking about it and thinking about all of the information I received on the book and how it's so long, the unfilmable book, and it's really not all that. I mean, if you're used to high fantasy, it won't be too big of a deal, especially with the glossary and the appendixes in the back. It's such a good story, and I feel like everybody should give it a chance at least. I mean, don't let the length or don't let anything intimidate you, because it's not that bad. It's not any worse than any other high fantasy you've read. So if you're interested, I'd recommend. And the last book that I read this month was also an audiobook. It is The Upside of Falling by Alex Light. This book I gave a 3.5 star. It was really good. I did enjoy it. So another YA contemporary romance. I was more so not necessarily excited, just wanting to see if I would like everything in that genre. So I'm kind of picking up a bunch of YA contemporary romances through my library, and as they come in, I'm reading them, seeing what I like, what I don't like, trying to narrow down my specific taste in that genre. So in this book, we follow Becca. She has divorced parents and therefore she does not believe in love, but she likes romance novels and believes that love belongs on the page where it is safe. Brett has only ever known the perfect love that his parents had, and so he absolutely believes in love. So they ensue some fake dating. That is absolutely adorable. The only thing that is completely unbelievable is the fact that Becca has like a huge bookshelf filled with just romance novels, and she's never read a fake dating trope before. That's unbelievable. It's not happening. And when you're in a romance novel where there's no other like magical realism or fantastical elements where I will have to suspend my disbelief for that, I can't just suspend my disbelief for something you want me to believe is not happening in real life. I live in real life. You can't make me not believe what's happening. I know what happens. So they do some fake dating. It's really cute. And you know, romance. It's sweet. So the reason why it's getting 3.5 is not only that little bit of unbelievability where she's never read that trope before, but also the friend characters are so underdeveloped. Like, I think that because this book focuses on like the parental relationships and how that affect teenage life and your romances that you have as a teenager, we got more focus on the parents, but we didn't even really get too much like character depth of them. They just got more to them and more page time, and we knew more about them. Also, along with Becca has a frenemy that is also somewhat developed, but not really, and they just have a lot of like there's other people who are brought in to like fill out the scene, but they don't really have as much development as anyone else, really. Like, Becca and Brent are it, and it's like, it's okay, it's a romance, that's fine, it's not gonna get as high a rating, but I really liked it, so 3.5 for that one. Alright everybody, so that was everything that I read in the month of May. 2,932 pages, 8 books, 3 were audio, 5 were physical, 1 was a DNF, and I read 8 different genres. Can you believe it? I'm actually stoked about that. Super exciting, super amazing. So I hope you enjoyed this video, I hope you have a good rest of your day, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!